So this is going to be a lesson on again the Persian Empire, on how Darius becomes king after the death of Cambyses. Here's the 5 questions on the death of Cambyses. You know what to do. Look in the previous lesson, the previous video, please. So accession means how you become king of Darius, in brackets the great, because when he becomes the king, he's not the great yet, he's not done anything. Various key words, these are all Persian big shots. His daughter, Harem, may keep your wives. Name, you know, noise a horse makes. Behishton inscription, Baronet. Galmeta, Magi, Draga, the lie, Uhura Mazda, art of the truth. These are all Persian religious terms. So, here's what Herodotus says. Right. In the royal palace in Pasargadae, there's a man called Otanes. He's a Persian big shot, and he is very suspicious of this of King Bardia. He rarely comes out of his apartments. He rarely meets with people, and he has just some sort of suspicion that maybe something's up here. Now, one of his daughters is in the harem. And he says to his daughter, the next time you spend the night with the king, next time you have sex with the king, after you're finished and he falls asleep, move his hair and have a look at his ears for me, please. Yes, father, she says. A little while later, she's called to the royal bedroom. They spend the night. He falls asleep. She moves the hair and discovers he has no ears. They've been cut off. Reports this back to her father. I knew it, he thinks. I knew I recognised that bloke. That's the Bardia, that's the Magi, who was punished earlier by Cyrus, but then he was punished by having his ears cut off. That guy's an imposter. So he sets off, and he meets the army of Cambyses. And Cambyses is dead, and he meets with 6 other Persian big shots, and says, something terrible's happened. An imposter, a Mede imposter, a doppelganger, has taken over the empire. We got to do something about it. So the 7 set off by themselves to try and sort things out. Meanwhile, back in the palace, the fake has skin Praxaspes. Praxaspes is the servant of Cambyses who'd murdered Bardia. He said, look, I want you to proclaim I'm the real king. Praxaspes says, I will, goes to the highest tower in the palace, and instead of saying, this guy's real, he says, this guy's a fake, I murdered the real one, and kills himself. Meanwhile, the 7 have arrived at a palace where the fake king lives, and they're allowed in because they're big shots, and they're allowed in with their weapons. No one thinks to search them, no one thinks to take their weapons off them. They barge into the bedchamber, there's a brief fight, and they kill the fake king. Now they've got to decide what we're going to do next. Who's going to be king? I know, we'll let God decide. We will ride out just before dawn to a hilltop. We will wait for the sun to come up. As the sun comes up, whoever horse neighs first, that's a sign from God they want them to be king. So they line up, and the horse that Darius is sat on, he's one of the servants, maybe perhaps a distant relative of Cambyses. It's only a maybe. His horse neighs, that's a sign from God, he should be king. There's another story saying that Darius cheated. He got his servant to stick his fingers up a mare's while she was on heat, so it got all smelly and sticky. And then, when they were waiting for the sun to come up, the servant rubbed his hand on Darius's horse's nose. Darius' horse is a stallion, a male horse, and that's what made him rear. Still, either way, it's a bit of a tall tale, isn't it? The Behishton inscription tells a slightly different story. This was done by Darius. There's a mountain in Iran today. And halfway up the mountain, Darius has an inscription made. telling the story of how he became king. It's still there today. Because when he finished, he had the ledge broke away so no one can get to it. It was found by archaeologists, deciphered, and it tells a story similar to Herodotus about how Bardia had been killed and he'd been replaced by a man called Galmeta, who was a shape-shifting servant of the devil. Angra Mainyu is the devil, and backed up by divers, which is demons. Yeah. And then Darius had been chosen by God, Ahura Mazda, as his servant to kill the fake, and here's the fake dead here, and take over the Persian Empire. So it's similar in some ways, but slightly more religious. Right. We don't know what happened in 522, but what do we think really happened? Well, what's probably happened, what makes sense, is that Cambyses died, Bardia, his brother, became king. Maybe he had tried to usurp and take the throne. After that happened, Darius and some other Persians murdered Bardia and took the throne. That makes perfect sense. You can't tell that story, so you've got to make up some rubbish to make it look like some sort of fakes. It's got doppelgangers, it serves the devil. And why is Darius so keen to mention Ahura Mazda? Well, he's saying I was chosen by God. And Arta and Drauga here, the truth and lies, is the heart of the Zoroastrian religion, which they're following. Ahura Mazda is the main god. And by banging on about it, saying, well, I can't be lying, I'm a follower of Ahura Mazda, I believe in the truth, and lying is one of the worst things you can do. He's creating an ideology to explain why he should be king.